Non, 3000 personnes qui travaillent pour aider les gens. Mhm. Pour aider. Oui. Donc, qui travaillent
Dennis?
ensemble pour trouver des...
Dennis? Dennis? Oh, thank you, Dennis.
Yes.
Oh, I just wanted to check in about the microphone. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Who's going to chair the meeting? Anyone. Doesn't matter who it is. Just can't be me.
I'm happy to chair.
Awesome. Okay, so Jamin's nominated himself. Thanks, man. We don't have an agenda, but I'd suggest that organization of meetings and communication, anything you've got from collective intelligence about how to organize, you won't know half the problems we have because you're not on the admin channel yet. So if you could message me, or probably, just message me. So I'm at AJP, so Alpha Juliet Papa, on Slack, and send me your Slack handles. I'm going to add Seaweed now to the admin channel. And then I'm going to let you guys get up to whatever you think is going to be most valuable to get up to.
Okay, so simple as that. At AJP on Slack, correct?
Yeah. Just send me your Slack handles when you get a chance, like after the meeting, and then or Seaweed will add you in. I just don't know if Seaweed knows who you guys are. I don't even know who Seaweed is. So.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. All right. Well, I hand it to you. I defer to you, Alexander. Happy to chair, but in terms of agenda and whatnot.
Yeah, so it's all yours now. You go for it. But I can suggest some things that you might want to look at. There's two channels on Slack, one called Medical Personnel and the other one called Signal to Noise High, which is like an experiment basically to try and like differentiate between what is actually valuable and what is a whole load of nonsense. And surprise, surprise, it's quite hard to like figure out what's actually valuable.
Okay.
So you might want to go to those Slack channels and read through some stuff, or you might want to intro yourselves, or I don't know.
Sure. Yep. Yeah. Very good. Well, maybe we read through it offline so that we don't, waste everyone's time here. Is that fair? And so happy to introduce ourselves. So I'm here with a few colleagues. We all came over here from the Collective Intelligence Block Party, which my organization, radish.org, organizes on a weekly basis. We have a 24-hour collective intelligence block party every Friday, Saturday. Goes for 24 hours straight. And we address the world's most daunting problems. And of course, topping the list now is the coronavirus. So we have directed our attention towards that. And we found all of you. I'm here with, you can see on the screen, Dot, Shankar, Emery with the dark, colorful background, Nolan, and James from Cork, Ireland. So we're from all over the place. And there's dozens more of us from the Collective Intelligence Block Party who certainly are going to want to help out. How we can best help is over the last few years, we have been developing a platform for collective intelligence, precisely to handle situations, including emergencies like this one, where we need to grow from dozens to hundreds to thousands to tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of volunteers to millions if necessary. So totally scalable solution. Now it's under development, but we have an interim solution and then a longer term solution. I'll spare you the details, but the bottom line is that our work is centered around video conferences just as this one, except in addition to recording them, we also broadcast them live on Facebook and YouTube, record them, and then transcribe them. So that at the end of the meeting, you end up with a transcript, okay? And that can be reviewed or not, but the very powerful thing here is with transcripts of all these meetings, and so you can imagine a whole taxonomy of topics. You start at the top, coronavirus, right? Treatment, prevention, detection, protective gear, safety, food, water, So you break it all out into a taxonomy, have regular meetings for each of those topics. Again, broadcast, record, transcribe. Get the transcripts published as quickly as possible so that they're made searchable, because then people can do specialized keyword searches. I need to find the group that's dealing with HQ, XYZ, whatever. Search for it. Boom, there you are. Oh, I didn't expect to find you here, but here you are. Bam. Look on the calendar. Here's the next meeting scheduled for that topic. So it's centered around the two pillars are the conversational domain, which is Zoom video conferences, just like I described, and a taxonomy of topics that creates a backbone, a skeleton, a structure. From there, in addition to general meetings where you know, so the whole idea is you break it into the taxonomy so that you can divide and conquer, right? And the more specific we can get in terms of specialized topics, the better, because the volunteers are going to keep streaming in. We need to direct them to where they're needed the most. So we identify all these topic areas and specialty areas that need to be mastered, and then the volunteers know exactly where to go. From there, they get together and have meetings. Now we have a general 24-hour meeting every Friday, Saturday. That's a catch-all. We're going to use that as an emergency landing spot for volunteers, for anyone who needs help. People have questions, they're disoriented. What do I do? There's a 24-hour window. So it's neutral for all time zones all around the world. Okay? We're going to do an emergency conversion.
So
Yeah.
Jevin, sorry to interrupt you. I take it that this is about onboarding in a large size and managing and directing the large flow of volunteers. There is process being developed right now. There's several admins building a team to onboard people, and I've been interviewing and installing managers for onboarding. I just want to be clear, sometimes in a rush like this, when there's a very large growth of the community, we might have to interrupt things to try to stabilize things, and that can look like that we don't have a process, or we don't have steps in place. But because we're stabilizing things doesn't mean we've forgotten about them. This is what communities look like when they're growing extremely fast. That's not a sign of a lack of evidence. So there is process involved. If there's there's nothing we can do specifically to help with the fact that, you know, there's 200% growth and I can't install enough onboarders, but want to be careful about adding another structure to that when that organization is occurring behind the scenes.
Oh, absolutely. I was just invited by Alexander, so we're just here to help, however we can help. I was just giving a little description of the kinds of services that we're happy to offer, but perhaps we should have an offline meeting to with the appropriate folks to go over that. Or if now is the time, let's go over it now. But I'll follow your lead. How about that?
Yeah. I think it's important to note that, like, Charles has been doing some incredible work, but like there's only one Charles, so yeah. And yeah, like you said, he's been installing people as soon as he can, but yeah, it's just growing very fast. It's yeah, I mean, you happen to join the call, and it's sorry, I mean Nolan and Jamie and the rest of you. So yeah, it's really interesting. Like Charles might be able to take, or might already be taking, some of the ideas that you've said and implementing. I actually don't know, because Charles and I are kind of like, we're not overlapping that much, and he's spread super thin and I'm diving deep into the kind of technical side, so we actually haven't been interacting that much. So I actually don't know what Charles is doing either.
Sure. Understood.
So to give some visibility, there's multiple people servicing who could be something like a general manager. So like firing myself and replacing myself as many roles as possible is my goal in life. So that is what we're trying to do. So exactly trying to get another general manager in there. So again, what we've seen in the last 72 hours is pretty extreme. We aim for about a much lower number, and we've seen 200% growth day after day. I believe that's going to slow down now. So one thing is deceptive in these communities that grow very fast is that you know, you can't grow 2% day after day for every day. So that ends, and then all the structure that we're putting in behind the scenes starts getting executed. So just asking for some patience here. Jaman could be completely correct that there's a big gaping hole. There's channels.
I don't think he's saying that, Charles. He's not saying there's a big gaping hole.
Okay.
He was just
Okay.
suggesting that this is a structure that they've been thinking about over the last few years.
Okay.
He definitely wasn't suggesting anything about the current structure, because he's only just found us, right? So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know nothing. I know so little, and I just came here offering help, and Alexander just teed me up and said, "Why don't you describe?" That was the context. So everything I know, I'm learning from you right now.
Okay, and okay, great. Let's return. I'm gonna back off now. Thank you very much, Jaman. Thank you.
Absolutely, I'm here to help.
Cool. Charles, just one thing. I said that it might be useful to get these them into the admin channel, just to facilitate that conversation with the rest of the team that you've already installed.
The admin channel is one thing we want to keep private. It's very confidential. There's people discussing, our personal things, and we have to discuss difficult things like strategic alliances. There's nothing like, there's no like intrigue or untoward, but we might say that this government agency works better than this one. We don't want that easily available. I think organization meta is the one we're using for public, and I take that very seriously. The organization meta channel. I post as much in there as I can that isn't personal information. So that's where we should direct people. Organization meta.
Sure. Okay. So guys, you heard what Charles had to say about that. So. Cool, guys. I need to go before my girlfriend dumps me. So, but I think there's some interesting conversation there about structuring stuff. But obviously, I've kind of not let, but Charles has just taken the lead and done a lot of that organization work. So, yeah, he's got vision for how he thinks it should be, and I think it will just evolve over the next kind of couple of days about what kind of structure comes out. And please share your, like he said, please share your ideas in the organization meta channel. And definitely also please send me your Slack handles as well, because I'm interested in hearing about any other organizations. Maybe we can just bridge between the organizations or whatever it is.
Absolutely, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. Okay, I better go now.
Thanks so much, guys. Alexander, and thank you for all you're doing, buddy.
Yeah, I'll chat to you soon. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
Is the meeting over now or not?
No, you guys keep going. Don't. If there's something valuable you think you can discuss, I'm just leaving because I promised my girlfriend. So
you don't do that.
Thanks a lot, Alex. Thank you very, very much. Hi, everyone. So for next steps here, I'm not fully prepared to share the meeting. I see some admins in here from the admin channel. So let's have you guys take the lead for anything you want to discuss.
Hi, I'm Dennis, and I'm new here, just trying to understand. Maybe what can we do?
Hi, Dennis. So there's a lot of things going on here in the Slack in general and in this channel. There's some admins here. So in the absence of a table program, which I don't have because I didn't expect to chair this meeting, I suggest the admins take the lead to discuss any pressing topics. I'm willing to discuss anything fulsomely in this channel in this discussion right now. So Luke is an admin, and anyone else here wants to discuss, please go ahead.
I'm not an admin, actually. I'm not in the admin channel. I've founded a group because I saw some people in the introductions channel which were a good fit to maybe apply to the grant of the European Commission, because they're going to hand out funds for groups like ours. And there are some lawyers which have sprung onto this. There's also a leader, he's called Luca, who will lead this team. And one thing that needs to be established is some sort of legal entity, which is proposed to be a joint venture, because we can't establish other legal entities in this short period of time. Charles, what's your opinion on this?
Well, I think Charles left. But I can help you with that. I'm the onboarding leader for the onboarding channel, so I can help you with something. You said that both some of you are on the legal aspect. I believe you said you were trying to set up a group to apply to the European Commission. I am an European expert on the boarding commission and the European project expert, so I can help you with that. If you give me the list of the members of your channel, I can also add them to the other channels that the group has now regarding funding, European projects, legal aspects, legal compliance, so that some members of your group can start reading and participating in projects. And if you have an idea, you can open, I would say, a Google Doc, try to explain the scope of your channel in order that Charles and other people that are not here at the moment can read and try to, or create an official channel out of you, or onboard your channel into other proper channels. Because in fact, if you go tag #key on your keyboard, you'll see that we have plenty of channels right now. And you start typing the first word, legal, software, whatever, you'll see that we have tons of channels, some of them official, some of them not official. And if you have a good idea and it's structured, I can help you diverting you to the right places. So you can share your idea with some of the admins that are not here. I can also do that directly to João Nascimento, which is part of the initial project, and to see where your ideas can be truly validated. Because we have a governance channel, but if you do that, a list of what kind of the number of the members of your channel and a scope, a project, what is your scope, project scope, I can read it, and I will be here at least for 12 hours today, and I can see how can I fit your members or upgrade your channel as an official channel. How about that?
Yeah, definitely. I'll look at that. Is there any move for the European Commission grant already?
Well, in the European Commission, I don't see, as seeing all the channels, I have not seen yet people that decided to upgrade or contact the European Union. You know, in Portugal, for instance, this project has been on the news. I represent 3 universities here. Both of them have laboratories and they are fully interested in participating in the project. This will get some resonance in the background. What will happen next? There are some channels, I will not say channels because I don't want to mix with Slack. There are some communication channels within the European Union to get funds and to get experts. But let me tell you, it's a very complicated role because it's not, the scope of this project is to be agile, and nothing in the European Union is agile. They take eternities.
Just to interject here. So there's a lot of details going on in this discussion. Just keep it at a high level. The focus is exactly on organization and to getting the projects going. So just at the high level to give visibility, I haven't focused on finance. So to proceed, I'll need to put in a finance administrator and deal with the big process here. For also some clarity, I have experience working in nonprofits and corporations and things like that. It's a major process where making a mistake at the beginning is very costly later on. That's one reason why we haven't done that right away.
And
everything you said is everything you said is probably correct. We just need someone to give attention to that in a full way. If anyone here can step up and is willing to dedicate the long hours every day to deal with finance, you can be a finance administrator. That's what we're missing right now. We are missing the ideas to do finance. So please contact me if you want to step up and administrate finance, and can PM me with a resume and a LinkedIn or something like that, and we can discuss.
So as I said, I'm new here and I'm from Belgium, and we are making a team for triage in hospitals. So there will be maybe doctors and engineers and some Fab Lab members. So I don't know what can we do? Is there already a project like this, or do we have to do a new one?
There's approximately 3,000 people with the same question in the channel. One thing I've done to try to direct attention is to organize proposals. That's something that I suggest everyone here consider and look at to focus your attention. is to produce these proposals, and B, if there's something wrong with this process, if you think that this is stupid, Charles, or the rules are unfair or rigid, or that we should just order people to start something right now, I'm also open to that. So A, is the proposals adequate, and can you do that? Or two, what else should we do?
And proposal is in the Google Docs, is it right?
It's in the announcements right now. There is a maze of other documents and onboarding that we haven't updated because, for example, this is occurring in real time. But if you look at the announcement page, that might be helpful.
Yeah, there's two major lines of projects right now, one in software and one in hardware. I'm in the onboarding moment. I'm greeting the newcomers, volunteers, and giving them specific channels according to their abilities, and also presenting two lists of projects, one in software and one in hardware, that are now long, and in shorter time it will be sorted with priorities. Of course, not right now, because as Charles said, we are getting tons of volunteers, and management is necessary right now because it will lead to cuckoo land if not applied correctly now. And I believe, as Charles said and other admins said, in really near time we'll be prioritizing those projects, because some of them also repeat themselves. If you go see the two documents, you'll see some of the contributions are the same. So in the near time we'll have to address that, but first we have to sort. We'll have a decreasing number of onboarding in the future. I believe it's like the virus, it will start decreasing, and I believe that will be the time to start spreading the proper projects. What do you think, Charles?
That sounds excellent. I'm being pulled in a few directions right now at this moment, but that sounds correct. So there isn't a strong agenda right now for the discussion, unless again, if an admin or someone with a lot of experience in the channel or the Slack wants to step up and give a program that might be valuable. I hear a lot of there's gonna be a lot of the same question is, I'm here, what can I do? Or, I'm here, what about, this detail? Sorry, Luke, go ahead.
One thing which would help with that, I think, is if in the greet box at the end, if we link to a start navigation document, because there we can cover a lot of the frequently asked questions and don't have people ask them in the channel all the time.
Understood. I'm getting the sense that the onboarding is still inadequate. So let me make a note of that. And we have an onboarding team, with 10 people and a manager. I will personally look into that, and also ask the team to look into that. These things do take, they're not instantaneous, but we're trying to make that onboarding experience better. Thank you.
There's an idea that I have to share with you, Charles. Do you think it would be proper to have in our website the list of channels that we possess right now, so that people that just browse around the website can have a structural idea where they can, a pre-idea of where they can belong before they board in? Because as soon as they board in, they are completely blanked. There must be someone in the onboarding process directing them to a proper place. But if they have a project idea, a structure idea, right from just reading the website, I would think it would be a great help.
One thing I think is the issue with that is that not enough people have access to editing the website. That's one thing why I've created the Google Doc Start Navigation, because there we can give specific people access to editing this, and there will always be enough people who can edit this, and the homepage should link to that. I've posted a link in the chat.
I have an idea who can do this.
There's general deficiencies toward onboarding is, I think, the big theme here. Part of that will be the owners of the process will have to look at that, and I'll also look at that. We're probably not going to be able to update the website to show real-time Slack channels. That changes very, very quickly. So overall, I'm hearing that the onboarding process is inadequate. Again, part of this is that this is what a very fast-looking growing community looks like. There's no unless we plan for 3,000 people and for the certain cultures in here, there's no other way other than going with this on the fly. and installing these
Great.
things as we go.
Agree.
So it looks disorganized for the 24 hours after we see a surge in membership that doesn't last forever. So we're spending management time here on pushing the projects forward and hoping that people who get onboarded can be patient and also improve the onboarding process. There's been some discussion about onboarding right now, from Jaman and NRMC. I want to open the channel to any other things that we are discussing. Maybe, for example, instead of onboarding, is there another pain point where people are disappointed in the Slack, where they feel like they can't express themselves? Is experience in the Slack is also very difficult, besides for the brand new people. Are there other questions about any other thing we can do right now?
I have a
Hi,
question.
everybody. Me too. You go first.
Oh, that's okay. Thanks. Okay, so I'm looking through here to find a place for proposal. Okay, let me start over. What drew me to this project was the DIY kit, and then I saw the DIY ventilator, and then I'm a software engineer, and then I saw there was a software channel. And when I was looking through a couple of these projects that I think are older, there's a PLC program and tool as part of the ventilator, and there can be all these different PLC devices that need to be programmed if we're making, large quantities of ventilators. And so I was curious if is there like a pool, like could we have a proposal, a way to submit a proposal through like a Google Doc related to something specific like that, I guess, is my question. I don't know if anything that exists.
I don't, honestly, the technical details, I couldn't follow because I'm not an expert in that. So again, there's an issue of organization here. So, what's going on in a granular detail related to ventilators, and how do I map that to the proposal structure? Part of that is we need an owner for that team or that part, and ventilators is actually a vast part. We might have multiple projects in there.
Sure.
So that is the answer, is that there needs to be more structure on those projects there. But you should know that there are multiple people, literally probably dozens of people who specifically have worked in this and have some structure in the Slacks already. We have to try to work through what's going on in the Slack.
Sure. Is it cool to, if you're in Slack, to go ahead and create a channel for like ventilator programmers or something like that?
So we have a medical hardware and medical software channel, and if you post in either one and say that, hey, I have this and this need, and what about this problem? Who do I talk to? Someone should be there to talk to you. You might have to post that a couple of times.
Sure.
But there is that process in that sense that there's a channel to ask those questions and people will direct you.
Okay, great. Thanks.
And PM me if
Hi,
that doesn't
everybody.
happen.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. It is Paulo 300, and I would like to raise the question that I saw in the Google Docs, in the navigation, a sourcing entry, and then I saw in some of the channels, people will need these, we need masks, we need plastics, we need materials, and so on. So I start to brainstorming some ideas about to anticipate some kind of effort to source materials, tools, and other things that are needed for the projects after they kicked off. And the idea is, if the project itself can raise the materials it needs, that's perfect. But if the people in the projects would like some support to source materials and to be 100% focused on the project and the design and the product, then other people could help on that, probably with a different profile. I'd like to understand if that is aligned with what the admins think, or what do you think?
So there's multiple questions about sourcing. For example, that in general, that's something that we expect the project managers to deal with. So we can't track down all the different possible ideas for things and also sort out the supply chain for them. So that makes sense for the project manager to do. There's a separate thread potentially I was thinking about, for example, having a specific project to investigate the supply chains in China. So for example, that's exactly what we think all the reduction is. We need to know, for example, are there any regulatory issues where they won't let us send out large amounts of ventilators or equipment. But the direct answer to the question, that's owned by the project managers who we are still installing or need to emerge themselves.
Makes sense. Okay, so it would be up to the project manager to be able to get the resources he needs for the project. It would be something like that.
Yes.
But
yes.
Let's imagine he needs some material from China, or he needs something to be delivered from point A to point B. Would that be feasible for getting all the project managers to try to get the same logistics?
As there's sort of two levels here. So the Slack serves as a platform for projects to grow. So we're not bossing people around. We're not going to shut down other projects. However, there is a general idea that we're going to organize active projects from the Slack. Those will be few in number and very well resourced. And they'll be given support once we decide what they are. So how do we do that? Well, right now, if you look at the announcement channel, we're seeking these proposals. Those proposals will be the structure that will turn into projects, and they will get the full support of the channel. So by project manager, I don't mean like the one person who emerges from the Slack channel. That means whatever management that emerges for that project, which could be a vast project. So for example, if we settle on ventilators or a particular form of ventilators, that might get hundreds of people and have its own organization.
Makes sense. Thank you for the clarification.
Does anyone here have any other pressing needs to discuss? I need to get back to the Slack, and I just want to make sure that there isn't any really pain points here that I can address.
Hi, Charles. I'm Alberto. I would have a really short one. It's a proposal for the general level communication that we are having, and if it will be okay to start moving little by little, at least in the software and hardware descriptions, from Google Docs to GitHub, because it's easier to manage edition and new additions on pull request base than on access base on a Google Doc.
Okay, I agree with that. Absolutely, in principle. There might already be a GitHub going on. I need people for these questions asked in medical software, medical hardware several times if there is a GitHub. I know for a fact, for example, Roy Hugh has a GitHub. I'm not sure if he's using it for the whole Slack. He was a day ago. Maybe he has changed his mind now that we have 200% more people. But for example, again, there's a lot of directions here. If you post a medical hardware, medical software, and ask for the Git and try to get a response, that would be useful to your question.
It would. The only matter would be if we can create one kind of official organization, and the different admins from medical software, medical hardware, etc., use that organization, because otherwise we are creating privately. So I have already one GitHub also for collecting software projects, which is kind of personal one. So we will have an official one. Everybody could relate to that, and imagine that, I don't know, tomorrow I get sick or another one gets sick. It doesn't fall the whole chain, but we have a line of command that can take over.
Okay, so again, there's two general responses to these questions. A, we need an admin or manager who's willing to own that and dedicate their time to make that correct. And two, there's probably already people who've done that or considered that, and they should discuss in those channels.
Okay.
I know that's not fully satisfactory. If you've if you worked at Google or Facebook, they don't tell you to just try to figure it out. Right now, we just haven't had the time to deal with all those nuances right now. Is there any other pain points right now? Okay, so I'm going to close down the discussion. I'm not going to try to actively stop it, but I'm going to leave now. I can't vouch for any discussion that happens. Thank you all for your time here. Just please still be patient. We're still trying to install admins. Some of the admins have been working 18-hour days to try to deal with the flow here. We care a lot about maximizing the best use of all the resources we've been given. Thank you for your time.
Welcome. I'm going to leave. I'm going to head back to distribution.
Thank you, Charles.
Bye.
And thank you all. All right. Well, I'm here available to continue the discussion if anyone would like to stick around. It looks like, are there any admins currently on the call? Luke, you're not? Okay. It looks like the organization is overwhelmed with an influx of volunteers. The prediction that I think that they think it's going to level off, I think is, respectfully, I think it's mistaken. I think the volunteer surge, if anything, is going to increase because this is something for the first time in human history, in the history of the planet, that since this, I don't know, the Spanish flu, this is the first time that we've got something that's threatening everyone, and it may be worse than the Spanish flu. So everyone's at home right now freaking out, wondering what they can do, and more people are going to find out about this resource, and that's a good thing. And we need to figure out, we, the community, I'm not, it's up to the whole community to figure out how we're going to handle this big influx. I totally respect what Charles said, that he can't vouch for anything that's said here. So I'm not asking for anyone to vouch for what I'm saying. I'm just speaking what makes sense to me. We will have an accelerating influx, and in fact, we can stoke that and intentionally make it a huge influx of volunteers and create a proper, first ever collective superintelligence, leveraging the technologies that have been developed over the last several years. The web services are all ready to go, and we can do this. I'm happy to give folks a kind of a brief introduction. This is my world, collective intelligence, and I'm happy to give folks an introduction to that. If that's of interest, because I think what we can do, the big idea is that we can take this massive influx, the bigger the better, send us millions of people, millions of volunteers, and with the technologies that we have, including Zoom, including automated transcription through artificial intelligence, including various social media applications, Wikipedia, Reddit, etc., we can, in a very intelligent and very efficient way, channel people to the proper groups and teams to have actual meetings like this one, right? But they can go as long as the team wants to take it, right? I think that the sense I'm getting, I haven't really studied the structure here, but I'm hearing, it sounds like there's a hierarchy here. And these managers working 18 hours a day are overwhelmed. They cannot handle the influx. So we need a more intelligent and more effective system, overall system for handling the influx. We offer such a system. We offer it for free. We offer our time. We're just here to help. We're not here to charge anyone any money. Never will. And this is something we can do. We have the team. I just want to point out the folks who came over from the collective intelligence block party that we had today. Nolan, if you want to put a link to that in the chat, that's Nolan. He and I both live here on Whidbey Island, Washington, the state of Washington on the west coast of the United States, right near Canada. We also have James Desmond from Cork, Ireland, also part of our group. Shankar is with us as well. Dot came over as well from there. Emery from Montreal, Canada. He's the one with the colorful background there. Anyway, we are here standing at the ready to make this happen. And what we already have standing are 2 weekly meetings. One, the biggest of which is every Friday, Saturday, we have a meeting that goes for a full 24 hours. And what we can do is purpose that meeting to receive anyone who wants to join this network of conversations. The key is conversations. We can cover much more territory much quicker by having meetings. So imagine having focused meetings on an organized taxonomy of topics, covering all the different.
Have you been onboarding by this system? was the max capacity that you've been charged with?
The maximum capacity?
Yeah, what have you done already? How many people was the maximum that was ever onboarded by this system?
Yeah, so the maximum is on the order of 70, 80, which is the collective intelligence block party that we do on a weekly basis, but it can handle unlimited capacity, literally unlimited. There's no limit to what we can do with this.
70, 80 is very little. So the system isn't proven to actually be able to handle that many people.
Correct. That is correct. Well, I'm happy to share the details. It's really nothing. There's no rocket science here. It's a methodology that leverages the Zoom video conferencing and the Otter AI transcription and Google search. None of those have any limits that need to concern us, deep into hundreds of thousands, even millions of users. So it's a methodology that leverages existing web services. There is no code of ours that is needed to be used at all. So we're using industrial.
But the transcripts need to be posted somewhere, right?
Correct.
So the transcript need to be really well findable, and then if people come to, let's say something is mentioned and it's in the transcript and it's a place where people can go, then those people will have a massive influx of people they don't know what to do with. Like, say there's a link to a Slack channel, then this Slack channel gets flooded.
Yeah, so the point of the 24-hour meeting, which everyone would be welcome to attend, would be to be a clearinghouse for these issues. So as new people come in, no matter where they are around the world, they land in an ongoing 24-hour meeting, which with the proper volunteers, we can make a continuous meeting. So the idea is that there always be a place where people can go to get their questions answered, to know where to go, and that meeting be staffed with the appropriate, whether it's admins or experts or users or whoever needs to be there to handle the influx personally. So they can ask their questions and boom, boom, boom. We direct traffic. They're coming in continuously, we direct traffic continuously. Simple as that. And at those meetings, since they're recorded and transcribed, those people, as they come in, would have an opportunity to say, this is who I am, da, 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 da. Or we could direct them to a different location if they wanted to give a longer description. With all of that transcribed, we have up-to-date information, and that can be handled in an interview process, question and answer. So the interviewer knows exactly what we need to ask of each person. It's all recorded by voice and on to the next. We don't spend any time typing.
Well, I don't think typing speed is an issue.
Pardon me?
Basically what's I don't think typing speed is an issue. That's what you've been describing is basically what's happening on the introductions channel. That is what's happening on the Slack. I don't think video conferences add a lot to that.
Okay, so there is no video conference where people can land other than this one to get any kind of introduction or any guidance or any sort of support.
There is no video channel at the moment, no.
I beg your pardon?
There is no video channel at the moment.
Sure.
It's just,
so
it's
what
like,
if we,
everything is just like.
Sure. So what if we created a video channel that was optional, that people could come to? You need help, you're confused, because it sounds like there's a lot of confusion and people don't know where to go, and myriad Slack channels. What if we just created an optional space for the community to meet that's ongoing, where there are always people there who can answer questions?
There's no issue with that. I think that could be done, and let's see how that works. I'm not an admin. I can't make this decision because just making it isn't enough. You've got to link it in the important places.
Sure. So who should we talk to about getting it linked into all the important places, and also whatever other preliminary conversations we should have prior to just launching it?
I don't think you need to talk to anyone before launching it. You you can have a conversation. It wouldn't be an official conversation accredited by Charles and the admins. I don't think you need to talk to anyone before just making a video call.
Sure. Okay. Very good. Very
And
good.
they are working hard on the onboarding process, and I think a video channel will be an afterthought. So I think we should give them some time to see what they can do within the Slack and what are they going to establish.
Yeah. Well, actually, the video channel that we're talking about would only be the starting point. And then separate from that, for each major topic and each minor topic, each topic of any importance, there could be organized video conferences so that all the folks who are working on that topic can meet on a regular basis on video conference and share through actual conversations as opposed to text, actually discuss the critical issues and say, hey, look, we all know that this is the bottleneck. Let's talk about it. You know, let's have a conversation about it. That's extremely valuable. That's how we human beings evolved to get through crises in the past, by having face-to-face conversations. Now we have the technology. It's essentially free. We might as well use it. Combine that with transcripts, and what you get are transcribed records of each and every such meeting, which are then searchable. So if somebody is searching for something very specific, they can search through the entire body of transcripts and find a listing of the meetings in order of relevance. So it's extremely valuable. What this actually creates is a network of actual conversations. And I think that's what's really hampered efforts like this in the past is, well, we're going to do it all by text. Why? Because it's easy to manage. And what's most important here is that we manage it, right? Well, we end up turning away a whole bunch of people who want to come and help. But if they're told, nope, the only way you can help is come here and search and find and you know, if you need help, well, the admins are working 18 hours a day, so they can't help you. But we're working on it, so take a number and wait. Meanwhile, this virus is killing us. We need to come together as humanity in a whole new way. We need to come together in a way where we can meet together and talk about the issues in a whole taxonomy of meetings, right? Which can map to the Slack channels as needed. That we need to figure out. Should we have a one-to-one mapping, or should we have more general topic meetings? That's part of the art, and as opposed to the science of collective intelligence. So a lot of stuff's going to be needed to be figured out. But if we don't leverage video conferencing when we need to figure this out ASAP, we're making a huge mistake.
I'm still not convinced. That's just my personal opinion, because I think the signal to noise ratio in text is actually a bit better. And in those transcripts, you've got a lot of AMs and whatever we do as humans when we're having conversation. I think text is a lot more concise. Yeah, I'm going to sign off on this call. Going to assign some volunteers to projects. Bye.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Luke. Thank you very much. Good to meet you. All righty. Would love to hear from folks. So Dot writes, are the solutions they are working on proven, Luke? All right. And yes, James.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. I know that Luke went off so quickly because maybe if you just suggest him that maybe he just looks at some of the collective intelligence block parties introduction videos and send him the links for those, and Dr. Ye Tao's talk, and the ones that I explained in the gist of it, and a couple of the conversations, then the holistic conversation that takes part in the block party, where you can't get from text, where you can't get interpersonal connection and meaning and emphasis and share your soul, so to speak. You can't do that with just text, but the Block Party does offer that, and I think that's probably a key part that he actually just wasn't. We didn't have enough time here to explain that. It's a lot to take in a very brief conversation we're having here anyway for anybody. So I don't blame Luke in any way that way at all. So I think those links would probably help him out a lot. But as I'm speaking now, I'm going to just state that my introduction to the Collective Intelligence Block Party came through my concerns and stresses in life because of the global situation that we all find ourselves in here. And this is not just in relation to the coronavirus, I should say, which is an immediate situation that seems to be on everybody's mind now at the moment because it's on our doorsteps. But the myriad of problems that we face, and the most urgent of which now as well, apart from the coronavirus, is SRM, which is solar radiation management and the cooling of the earth, because that is a priority concern which, if it isn't addressed, all else is, I suppose, in a sense, all else is insignificant if that issue isn't addressed at the end of the day, or first, I should say, not at the end of the day. Yeah, so I came across the Collective Intelligent Block Party, and I'm not a social media expert, and I'm not technology. I'm a bit of a dinosaur when it comes to technology. I'm 52 years of age, and I deal with text small bit, but so I'm not that type of person. I'm a face-to-face person who likes to see who I'm talking to, so that I can get the emotion from their expression. I can get it from the tone of their voice. I can interact a lot easier, more respectfully, in a very civil manner with like-minded people who are all concerned about the same issues that we are here today. So basically, I think what Jamin and what we're here for ourselves is to offer our help in any way we can, and obviously in joining and combining our minds and our conversations, we'll all eventually end up helping each other. So that's why I'd just like to say that, and I'd like to say thanks for actually having the respect and the time and patience to listen to us all. So thank you.
Thank you, James. All righty. Any other comments on this or questions? Welcome, Jose. Or is there anything else anyone would like to discuss? Emery, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I personally I'm going to have to invest more of my time to evaluate and search out what already exists here, and see how that could be incorporated into my future efforts. And I'm looking forward to participating down the line here. I know time is short, but I'm going to have to ramp up our efforts towards this goal that we have here, and I'm looking forward to engaging further down the road here. But for now, I'm limited to what I can offer, but I wish to engage in further discussion in the near future. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Emery. All right. Welcome to those who have just joined. This is after the official part of the meeting, so none of this is sanctioned. These are just, we're just members of the community who are sharing, and I recently shared a big proposal for how we can help with the organization and with the communication, and in fact with the development of the collective intelligence of this entire community, so that we can be much more reactive and responsive and organize ourselves better to come up with all the solutions that we need to beat this coronavirus. Great. And is it OPPO? OPPO? A3, thank you so much for all that good information. We've got good research to look into there. Thank you. And by the names, are you all, are some of you from Portugal, some from Brazil?
Actually from Portugal.
Diogo. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. And Oppo is in Australia. And it's the middle of the night. Well, thank you for being here. We've been on nonstop video conferences for 25 hours straight.
Yeah. Pretty crazy, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, this is what we got to do. I mean,
actually. So actually, I'm joining in this call because I have to confess I'm a bit lost about what I have to do or what I can do. So I have to, I don't know, maybe be guided by one of you to, I don't know, to join in some of new groups or something that we can discuss our ideas, or I don't know, maybe you can help us to guide us.
Yes, absolutely. How do you pronounce your name? Is it Diogo?
Diogo, yeah, right.
Diogo, very good. My great grandfather was Diego,
yeah.
y de hecho tengo el honor de hablar español, por si ayuda.
Yeah, but Spanish is not Portuguese.
No, I know, but I understand. But I know that those who speak Portuguese understand Spanish quite well.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Very good. So, well, actually, what you're asking is exactly why we have come to the table, is to organize actually a whole network of conversations spanning all of the relevant topics here, right?
Mm-hmm.
From mechanical engineering to electrical engineering to chemical engineering to software.
Developing and something, yeah.
Exactly. To procedures, processes, etc. And I think that the best way to actually flesh out this whole spectrum of topics, I like to think of a taxonomy of topics, like in biology, right? A taxonomy of topics. I think the best way for us to develop an all-encompassing taxonomy of topics for the coronavirus and all around it that we need to resolve, right? Not just the engineering, right, and manufacturing and even logistics, but all the way into the politics and the culture, right? And how we need to interface with food distribution, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought, because I think that the main point in here is we have to follow, of course, we have to follow the instructions of the governments and the make decisions, of course. But I think we have to take actions, and because we have some I don't know, some knowledge in some areas that we can help, but of course we have to join and brainstorm some ideas to in every areas. I mean, it's not only the mechanical engineering areas, because I know that okay, we developed some new stuff and some great stuff, but we have to distribute it. We have to make that that something developed has to, I don't know, something to help, you know, someone to help. So I think yeah, that's the point of this this meeting, or these all meetings, you know. So that's what you said, and very well. Yeah.
Thank you, Diego. Thank you. So, I mean, this is our first meeting too, so we're just getting oriented.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do is follow up with some of the admins and the leaders, Charles Hay, Alexander Phillips, who were both on earlier, and we are going to basically create a system where we have essentially a catch-all meeting, right? That just goes 24/7. There's always a meeting going on because we expect a huge influx of volunteers, and we need volunteers from all different specialties, right? All across the board. So what makes sense to me, right? Until I hear otherwise, right? What makes sense to me is that we put out the call as wide and broad as we possibly can for everyone to come and help, right? Then we have a 24/7 ongoing meeting that never ends. All the new volunteers land there, boom, 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 boom. We tell them, oh, you're a doctor, go here. You're a nurse, go here. You're a lawyer, go here. You're an engineer, go here.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
Right? Okay. And then they then get directed to either a web page or perhaps a meeting that's ongoing. See, once we hit a critical mass, this is very important. Once we hit a critical mass of volunteers who are working on this, you know, 8-10 hours per day, right? We will have the critical mass to have continuous meetings on the most urgent issues, whatever those are. And we meet and we invite people in and we direct people to those meetings until we solve the problem.
Sure.
All right.
Correct.
It's as simple as that. It's not enough to just send a bunch of people to some Slack thing where they have to search and get confused and then click and then read and get another cup of coffee and read some more.
Yeah.
Right?
I think because I think volunteers appear all over the world, but the main issue here is to point those guys to the right place. You know, there have to be some guy or I know a bunch of guys to direct these people to the right point and to help with their specialty or their knowledge in order to be helped. So because you know I can be a volunteer, I have a bunch of knowledge, but I don't know how to help, you know. So we need to be very practical in this stuff, you know, because well,
exactly,
we have to yeah.
Exactly. And so here's how I'm envisioning it, right? Yeah. At any moment in time, maybe up to 10% of us might be volunteering in precisely the capacity of onboarding, right?
Yeah.
Diogo shows up and says, hey, I have these and these and these skills. Tell me what to do. We need someone to have that conversation with Diogo. And not some website where Diogo's there like, what? Where do I go? What? You know, they're trying to present this like a coin slot. Put it, and then there's 4 sizes of coins. There's doctor, there's nurse, there's engineer, and there's whatever, right? But we need people from all different specialties, right? And this needs to be an organically growing, evolving system. They're trying to impose a traditional hierarchical, very bounded structure on something which really needs to grow and expand into all the relevant topic areas.
Yeah. As Min said, well, so we have I don't know how many people do you have here? I don't 10 people here in this chat. So the main question: how can we point these guys to do something helpful?
Yeah. Okay. So,
Okay.
Mhm.
For example, everybody can introduce themselves, and then I don't know. Well, we have to decide later, but I think the main point here, or firstly, we have to introduce ourselves uh, to see what are the knowledge, or what it is the knowledge to help, you know.
Exactly, and that's exactly what we've come here to help build, is precisely that team and infrastructure and procedures, so that, because right now, listen, there are thousands of people pouring in. I don't know how many per day, or is it 1,000 a day, but it's been like doubling every day, right?
Yeah.
And I think it will continue to go up. So we need to create a really broad net to catch all the volunteers are coming, because what's happening is volunteers are coming and the admins are too busy for them. The admins are overwhelmed. They have no time to talk to you.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So, and it's okay, because again, they don't know what to do with all these volunteers. They can't talk with them. They don't want to talk with them. They just say, look, go to the website. But the website's broken and obsolete. And so it's just a mess. Okay. So what we need to do is design this capacity to catch all the volunteers and direct them to where to go. Okay. And where to go, the first place to go in my mind is a conversation where you find out, okay, what's the latest? What's the status in this topic? Maybe I'm a mechanical engineer, right? And I'm an expert in air pumps, and they need air pumps for the ventilator. Okay, so where's the mechanical engineering department? Send me there. And there should be someone there who I can talk to who can say, oh, great, Jamin, you're a mechanical engineer. Listen, we have these kinds of issues. We have electrical, we have valves, we have sealants, and we have tubing, and whatever, right? Here's where we need help the most. Can you help? Yes, great, boom, go there. Next. Nolan, who are you? All right. So we need to create this system from the ground up.
But you said that this is a continuous calling, right?
That's what we need to set up. It doesn't exist yet. Okay. But I want to create a continuous channel where we have volunteers for literally every single hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Continuous.
Okay, so in which platform do you want to create this channel?
In Zoom.
Zoom? Okay. So, and what about and the people join us, and then we point them to another channel, or how do you gonna proceed this?
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense, because the one main channel will probably quickly get overwhelmed. So we just need to take people and direct them, kind of like triage sort of thing. And we need to understand from the organization as a whole, what are the top priorities for them? So like if doctors, I understand that doctors are a top priority for them. So when doctors arrive, we make sure that we have a channel staffed for that with volunteers, right?
Sure.
And a volunteer can be up and running with 30 minutes of training. Here's everything you need to know. Now go. Boom. And that volunteer can be there for the next 8 hours receiving people and telling them boom, boom, boom. Right.
Okay. Sounds pretty good. How do you want to what's gonna be the next steps?
Yeah. So the next steps is they've given us some information to read. Believe it or not, Diogo, we have been up and working for 26 hours straight. We've been up and working, right? You see Nolan? Wave your hand, Nolan. He hasn't even had a nap in 26 hours straight work. So we're going to get some sleep and then we're going to regroup and we're going to read the materials that they've pointed us to. And we're going to, submit this as an official proposal to the admins, to the leadership, to the management. Listen, this is what we're offering as a totally volunteer contribution. We're not trying to do business here. We're just trying to save life on Earth. And here's what we propose. So we need to think about a way to scale it up and just propose the whole thing and say, here's what we propose, right? And if there are no objections, we go do it. We just start.
Okay.
Right? And of the volunteers who come in, many of them were going to say, "Hey, we need who's good at communication? Who's good with people, right? We'd like to recruit you for our team and help manage, and then we create a schedule and schedule the people to manage the channels."
Okay. Yeah. Sounds pretty good. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Diogo.
No, what I said is, that's the point. So guide people and direct people to the good points, the effective points where these people are needed. Okay. So I think it's the best way to do this. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. Let's see. We got a couple of hands up. Emery and then James. Go ahead, Emery.
Yes, thank you, Jamin. Would you be able to put in the chat your contact information, please, so I could just put that again into my references? Thank you.
Yeah, in fact, anyone who would like to be on an email list that will start, please just put your contact info in the chat and I'll put mine in as well. Can you guys hear me okay? Is that wind bothering you?
No, that's okay.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Hi, Diogo. My name is James. I'm from Ireland. Nice to meet you. And just in relation to what you were saying earlier there about having plenty of friends and that they all have good idea. Can you hear me, right?
Yeah.
About having, you have some friends and they're looking for direction and how they can help. I would say definitely it would benefit if you have a look at some of our collective intelligence block party meetings over the last number of weeks. We've racked up considerable amount of hours of conversation, and you'll see that it's very much a holistic setting and very insightful and respectful conversations, and you'll see how quickly it's starting to branch off into the different fields and different categories of priorities that need to be dealt with, globally for everyone. But
that's perfect. Can you share with us the link or something to guide us to that area, or to see what was talked before?
Yeah, Nolan will send up the links there to you. He's the man to do that there, and he knows which links would be most informative for you anyway, and for your friends.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and Emery, you have your hand up. Go ahead, Emery.
No, sorry about that. I didn't unhand myself.
No problem. You're good. Alrighty. Whew. And Diogo?
Sure. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. But you're in Portugal?
Yes.
What part of Portugal?
In Lisbon.
Lisbon. Wow. Beautiful city. I lived in Spain for a year when I was young, 14, 15 years old.
In which part of Spain?
Murcia, the southeast.
Murcia.
Yes.
Oh, southeast. Okay.
I have ancestors from there, so I am part Iberian, like you.
Okay. Yeah, but you are in the where do you come from?
I live in the United States.
United States. Okay.
In the state of Washington, which is in the far northwest corner.
Yeah,
and
Washington State is the. I think it's the state with the most victims right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. After Italy and China, we're the world capital.
Okay, that's bad.
But fortunately, here I'll show you where we live. We live on an island.
Beautiful.
So, not a lot of people here, so we feel relatively safe.
Safe, yeah.
But
beautiful. So okay. I think Nolan has shared like a link. Sorry, not Nolan. I think. Wait a second. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Nolan shared like a link, radish.org. I think it's the main site to this initiative, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the thing. Prior to the coronavirus, we were building out this very initiative for cooling the planet, right? For cooling the planet using reflectivity, solar radiation management, which is the only way to cool the planet in time. The only problem is almost nobody knows about solar radiation management. I mean, had you heard of solar radiation management?
Not so much.
Yeah, exactly. Almost no one has heard of it, right? And if they've heard of it, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's one of those ideas. Yeah, whatever, right? But listen, prior to the coronavirus, it was priority number one. Only because of the coronavirus is it taking a back seat. So basically, just to make an analogy for you, Diogo, right? We're like the army that got all set, ready to go, right? But then there was peace. Okay, so we didn't have to fight. But we're all set, and then they say, "Oh, no, over there." Okay, we're ready, right?
Yeah, right.
So, Jaman, when are you thinking of making the proposal to the admins?
This weekend, like I said, we've been working for like almost 27 hours straight, and we need to get a little sleep. And the thing is, because we manage this, we do this every single Friday for 24 hours straight, which we started off doing to cool the planet through solar radiation management, but now we're shifting the entire ship to coronavirus.
Good. Because the feeling I'm getting from the Slack community is that there's been a growth in projects coming in.
Yeah.
And actually, the admins are going through them all to vet the ones that are actually important and scientifically correct.
Yeah.
And I think your idea will be very helpful in the second stage, which is to direct the correct people or the correct resources to the right projects. and to cover the needs of each individual project. So I
Yeah.
think your project will be very helpful.
Good.
In the short
Beautiful.
term.
Beautiful.
So if you need something, I'm not like programming or anything. I'm chemical engineering, so I'm
Yeah.
from a different area. But
Yeah.
if you need any help, just reach out. Okay.
Okay. Did you put your email address in the chat?
No, I was.
Okay. Very good. And Diogo, I put my email there. Jamin Shively. That's the third link up right now. And anyone else, please put in your email. Thank you. Vitor? And Vitor, where are you located?
Portugal. Okay. Are you listening? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What part?
Porto.
Oh, Porto. Okay. Beautiful. That's the second biggest city, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Cool.
You're not. Oh, okay. Yes, and it's actually the epicenter of the virus right now in Portugal. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, where everything looks controlled from now.
Oh wow. Good.
So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, we're all just staying put, so we're all in our homes, just doing everything we can. Nobody leaves. Nobody goes anywhere now.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't say the same because a lot of people are not actually obeying the directives of the health organization. So yeah,
That's too bad.
In the north, yes, but from what I heard in the south, in Lisbon and another cities, well, it's not. They're not taking things very seriously. So it's.
And you see, this is interesting. This is actually one of the problems that we need to solve. Like we were talking about with Diogo, not just the engineering problems. We have media problems, cultural problems, political, right?
Of course.
All different kinds.
Definitely. Yes, and this project, this community is actually on the news right now here in Portugal. So it's been like a hot topic. So yeah, we need a way to direct people. Otherwise, it will be a complete and utter mess.
Absolutely. See, because what's happening is, you know, the
because I shared this on LinkedIn, but I'm regretting sharing it like when I did because.
Yeah, because the organization is not ready. In fact, the two or three people who were admins on here, they were just on for a little bit. They're just like, I'm really busy. I'm really busy. Yeah, I will get to you. Obvious. Goodbye. Right. Meanwhile, we've got all these people saying, here, I'm here, ready to work, ready to help. Mm-hmm. Right. And they're just like, go ahead, James. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nolan. I didn't, or Jamin, I didn't mean to cut you off there. No, I just referring to what that gentleman is saying there. The first part of our collective conversation, Black Parties, is also very valuable for each other in the fact that we can bounce off each other with a myriad of ideas that we all have in relation to the myriad of problems that we all face. But the difference with the collective Bloc Party is that the Intelligent Bloc Party is that we not only discuss the myriad of problems that we have, we are in the process, as I said, it's been going on for a number of weeks now, and it's really starting to come together. We're in the process of, well, we've already prioritized. We all know what our priorities were, and just prior to the outbreak of the coronavirus spreading all over the, going global, and the pandemic being announced, our main priority was SRM, solar radiation management, but it wasn't our only priority. There was a myriad of topics and conversations going on, holistic, again, now, as I said. So just to reassure or to, reaffirm that, and you should reaffirm that with your friends as well. It's not based on just one particular subject, it's everything.
Of course.
And, and there are just people that you could talk to face, or even just sit quietly and listen to conversation, but at least find some solace in it.
But what's really fascinating now with Corona is we have such a large influx of volunteers that we can really laser focus on all the different areas simultaneously. And so it's very, very exciting. Alrighty. Well, I know the team here is pretty tired. but happy to chat for a few more minutes if anyone has any other thoughts or questions, etc.
Well, I'm just going to reiterate about one of the conversations that we were having last night. I just thought of it, because as James said, we've been up quite a while, although they've been more than I have. But one of the conversations last night was actually about food distribution to the elderly and the poor and the vulnerable in society at the moment, who are being forgotten in the mad panic and grabbing for food. They've been pushed to the wayside or forgotten, and that was one of the topics of conversations now as well, among others that we were talking about last night, just to give you an example. So, I think you should definitely check out the block party and have a look at some of the older videos over the last couple of weeks. You'll get very well informed as to what's going on there.
Okay. So just one question, Jamin, just so you can go to take your hard-earned sleep. So one of my concerns right now is the amount of different information that will pour into this project. Unfortunately, there will be a lot of goodwill, but among that will be a lot of projects that are not technologically feasible. And that concerns me because it will distract a lot of resources to analyze that information and to evaluate if it's feasible or not. And that's worrying me right now, because I know a lot of people, I have a lot of good ideas, and I absolutely trust them, but a lot of them won't be feasible. So how can your project contribute in that way?
Yeah. So the way I see it is with the methodology that we've developed and that we've been implementing in these other areas, it basically relies on people to choose for themselves what projects they want to spend their time in, right? So now, having said that, it is absolutely true that a project can be endorsed, not endorsed, or even rejected, right?
Right.
And so if it's endorsed, so for example, if the policy of, look, what I would communicate is, I would say it exactly like that. Some of these projects are vetted, others are not. Others have been vetted and not passed the mark, but there's still some crazy inventor working on it, right? What are we going to do? Shoot the guy? Right? No. Right? So, and actually, especially with a global crisis like this, where we're going to have millions of people helping out, millions, mark my words. It's actually very healthy until we have a solution. The saying, let 1,000 flowers bloom, right?
Of course.
Now, certainly certify those that can be certified, fine. And then people know, right?
Okay. Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So I need to go shopping right now.
Very good for you. Okay, be very careful, Vitor.
Yeah, don't worry.
All right.
So have a nice rest, and well, see you later.
Thank you so much. See you soon.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
But Jamin?
Yes, sir.
So did you propose this your idea to any channels available right now, or?
Yeah, so what happened was, believe it or not, this meeting is our very first point of contact. So we haven't had a chance to propose it to any specific channel. Just talked with a couple of the admins who were here, including the leader of the whole project, Charles Hay, and just introduced ourselves, and they seemed quite positive. So we'll see where we go.
Yeah, okay, but what is the stage of the project right now?
Yeah, right now it's at the stage of proposal. We will be proposing, and again, they basically gave us the idea, listen, if you want to start something, start something. I would rather at least go through the motion of making a proposal, and that way they have an opportunity to give me feedback or direct me to someone else, whatever. So we will make that inquiry, and if they say yes, great. If they don't answer, we'll keep after them until we get an answer. And the answer may be, listen, go ahead. Because listen, what are we trying to do? Help people find projects to work on. All right. I mean,
but did you submit your project to any channels or not yet?
No. We haven't submitted anything to anyone. Our very first point of contact is this meeting that's happening right now. This is point of contact number 1.
Okay, perfect. So what is your idea, your methodology, or how can we help you, or how can we help the project right now?
Beautiful, beautiful. First of all, thank you, Diogo, for offering. After we get some sleep, we're gonna wrap our heads around it, probably get on a Zoom video conference. We'll email everyone who, including you, who gave us their email address on this meeting, and we'll work on that proposal. We'll see. We just need to sleep. It's been very intense, and
maybe I'll suggest something. Maybe you guys are very tired. You know, very. So maybe we can, I don't know, schedule a meeting to after your rest to decide what you're going to be the next steps.
Yeah. Now the thing is, we also have some family stuff, and we can. I can't. I don't know when we'll be available. Hopefully this weekend at some point, and I'm sure we'll talk about it. So if we just if I call Nolan and say, hey, are you ready? Yep. Okay, boom. Then we email out a Zoom conference. Other than that, we could schedule something for Monday, but I can't commit to anything before then, though we probably will meet before then.
Sure.
Send out an email. All right?
Yeah, I totally understand. Right. Yeah. The main point here is to submit something, or because what I'm trying to say is we need to finalize or finalize something. You know, we have to propose something to someone, or maybe not to evaluate, but to gather more people to our project, you know?
Absolutely. Well, you know, it may be that we put it up on Slack as a project, which says project welcome, right? So, so I'll tell you what, after we get some sleep, we'll send out an email, we'll start working on it, and love to have your participation. Feel free, if you want to work on it in the meantime while we're sleeping, you work on it, go for it, right?
Sure. Yeah, that's the point, because about the time zones and stuff, we are not all at work at the same time, so we need to make some schedule to everyone to okay, I did that, please continue, or please review that and continue, because we have to move and to move fast, you know?
Exactly.
So I don't know if everyone is available this weekend or not, but maybe when you wake after this hard task, after this great work that you did at the last hours, maybe we can schedule a meeting, or maybe you email us to see what, you know, to see what we can do.
Yeah, and in the meantime, feel free to email us. Hey, here's when I'm available. Here's when I'm not available. Here's my ideas. So when we wake up, we read that and we respond right away.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect, Chairman. Yeah. In the meantime, please do some rest. You know, you're worth it. So please have some rest, and then come back with all the force that you have. Okay. And then we can discuss our ideas. In the meantime, we can email you, of course. But when you are available, please send us an email. Going to get somewhere. Okay.
Yep, will do.
Okay.
All
Perfect.
right, Diogo. Very good to meet you. Thank you so much, Diogo.
Very good to meet all of you. So I think we're going to chat and call a bit later. Okay.
I look forward to it, Diogo. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just say there again, Diogo, lovely to meet you. It's been a pleasure. And I would emphasize again to check out last week's Collective Intelligence Block Party, number 3 of, I think it was 13 sections is broke down to 24 hours, is broke down to about 20 or 13 sections. But number 3, the third conversation in last week's party was Dr. Yetao of Harvard's presentation as well about the SRM. And I think you'd find that very interesting, as well as the other subjects that were discussed after in that hour and a half video on YouTube. So it'll give you some food for thought before we meet again next. Take care.
Okay.
See you, Diogo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Diogo.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a nice rest. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good one. Take care. All right. Well, no need to change rooms. Let me just stop recording here.